Now that we've got the central post in position and we've done just a preliminary of the lower mounting bracket, we can get underway with the fabrication of the traffic light itself. In order to do that, we're going to just open up our layer manager. We'll bring that into shot. We can turn off the current geometry, which is the base of the traffic light, without any problem. We can leave that central post in play. And in order to assist us in this lesson, we're just going to turn on Con Layer E in your 13 begin file. So you can see the black line work open there, and we're going to be building on a fresh construction layer. So if we just click New Layer, and we'll make that Con F for the time being. A useful thing at this stage is always to change the color between the active layer and the layer that you'll be working with the established construction line. So we're just going to make that new con layer a deep orange color for the time being. We'll make that layer active, and you can see the line work in place ready to go. And there, that's going to make up the body of the design. Double click on the perspective view so we can see which areas we're working on. We're just going to shift that layer manager out of shot a little bit. I'll just reduce that down and take that out of shot. Okay, now the element that we're going to be working with to start with is going to be the outer ring that's going to make up the traffic light. So the command we're looking for is solid, extrude planar curve, and to begin with we'll do a long curve. So the curve that we've got in this particular case is this one here, and always be sure to click the near end of the curve. I'll demonstrate it as a case in point. If I click the opposite end of the curve, you'll see that the projection goes away from us rather than towards us, which in this particular case is not useful because we then have to move it afterwards. So we just right click to bring up the curve again, and this time we're going to click close to the line that we're trying to extrude. And you'll notice it goes in the negative direction, the direction we're trying to achieve. Double click on the perspective view so we can see the geometry we've formed. It's perfectly valid, perfectly good. Okay, now we're going to do it again with the inner curve. So we've made that curve active. This time we'll click on the command bar and we'll extrude a long curve again. And as I said before, we're going to click that construction line close to the line there. That's looking fine. Now we're going to do the lower section of the light fitting, which is going to be duplicated at a later stage. So in this particular case, we're going to do it in a slightly different way. So whereas the others were solid, extrude along curve, this one will be solid, extrude planar curve straight, which is directly above it. Make a note between the positive direction that you're extruding and or the negative direction. So in this case, we're extruding in the negative direction. So I'll just take it onto the front view. And the distance that we're going to extrude it is 40 millimeters. So, correction, minus 40 millimeters. And there you can see that can's in place. The next element that I'd like us to extrude is two curves simultaneously. So in this particular case, we're just going to grab the inner curve and the outer curve at the same time. You'll notice when the menu selection comes up, we're choosing off the color marker, so we're choosing the curve, and we simply right click, extrude planar curve straight, and you can see it projecting out there. For the time being, we're just going to do it by eye because we'll be able to rescale it at a later stage. So now in effect we have a tube form which will be part of the cowl of the light fitting. The next thing that we need to do is refine this a little bit more. So to do that, to begin with, we're just going to turn off the con layer for con B. So I'm just going to drag that down. So we're just going to switch that post off again because we only need to focus on the body of the light, the traffic light for the time being. And we want two different elements here. We want a chamfer on this edge, and we want a radius fillet on this edge. So to begin with, we're just going to select that geometry there. And in order to put a fillet on something, we go down onto solid, scroll down to the fillet edge command, and at the bottom of the pull-out on that, you'll see chamfer edge. So it will be asking for the edges to chamfer. It will also request to begin with, and it's important to check here under the element here on the command bar, next chamfer distance, you want to put the dimension that you'll be doing the chamfer on. You just simply type N, return. In this particular case, it's 10, which is fine. So all I have to do is press return again. If yours isn't 10, just key in 10 accordingly and just select the outer edge of the geometry that you can see there. It's confirming that the chamfer will be 10. Right click. You can see the section mark is being shown. And there we go. Right click one more time to complete and confirm the chamfer on the edge. Explore the design just to make sure the outcome has been correct. That looks fine to me. Now we'll repeat that process on the back face. So simply right click anywhere on the viewpoint. The previous command will come up. Click on the edge that you wish to chamfer. It will give you a guide to the chamfer line that's being taken and the dimension of the chamfer. Right click, it'll show you a small cross section of that chamfer so you can get some idea of the effect. Right click one more time and it will execute the command. So now we've got a fairly slick, refined little piece of 3D geometry there. Now, another version of that is to fillet. Okay, so we're just going down and we're going to select on the internal element. We're going to put a fillet on that edge. So left click on the solid command, scroll down almost to the bottom where it says fillet edge. On the pull out menu, you want fillet edge. So select the element, and as with the previous one where you're measuring the distance, N specifies the radius, so if it probably by default will be listed as 1, so you need to type N, enter, then put in the distance required. In this particular case it will be 8, so you can confirm that. On the next radius it says equal 8, and then we can simply select the edge we want. You can see it's listed there. Then I'm just going to scroll this around so we can see it. So you can see the distance is listed. Right click, it will show you the cross section of the fillet that it's proposing, and it's a little radius as opposed to a straight line. Right click one more time and it executes the command, and you can see the end result. Now let's repeat this process on the back face. So select the geometry, right click to bring up the command. It's asking us for the edges to be filleted on the command bar. It's telling us what size that fillet's going to be. We can just simply select that edge out, then right click and right click one more time, and it executes the command. So now we can see that we've got the body of the command, the body that's been formed by 2 extrusions using extrude planar curve or extrude along edge, and then we've refined that 3D geometry using both the chamfer and the fillet command, which is hidden under the solid tool request. Okay. In the next lesson, we'll be developing up the design of the traffic light a little bit more.